Sasol was the first company to take advantage of listing its BE ordinary shares on the JSE's new BE scheme share trading facility. Here to chat about this historic event with me is Leanne Parsons, Head of Equity Trading at the JSE, and Nolitha Fakude, Executive Director of Sasol. Very warm welcome to both of you. Quite a momentous day. Leanne, let's start with you. What does it mean for the JSE, given the fact that it's something that you've been working on for around a year and a half?
Well, we were chatting with the JSE and the Sasol teams earlier. And the word is, it's proudly South African. It's a South African initiative for South African issues. And we think we've worked fantastically with Sasol to bring this initiative to market.
Let's start off with what prompted this. And clearly it was Sasol bringing these shares to the OTC market in late 2008.
Yes. Exactly. We had the Inzalo transaction, which had both cash funds, cash invitation as well as funded invitation. And we promised our shareholders that there would be an opportunity for them to trade after 2 years for the cash ones. And that's what prompted us to start looking for that platform.
What kind of demand was there on the OTC market? Give us an indication of the volumes.
At this point, we haven't seen much movement except through Computershare, who are actually administering the register, the shareholder register. There's been inquiries, probably about 100 or so, to check in terms of people wanting to understand how do they trade, what does it mean, and who do they talk to.
Well, Leanne, give us an indication of what kind of appetite you're expecting, and on the volumes front as well, given the fact that Sasol is perhaps one of the first companies that you're going to be looking at, and then obviously expanding on that depending on the success of this story.
Well, we start off with Sasol bringing 60,000 new shareholders to the market, and that's always exciting for us from a prospect of bringing people who previously didn't own shares to the marketplace. We've been chatting to a number of other companies who are hugely interested in managing their BE scheme share trading and bringing it to a public regulated marketplace where you can get all the benefits of trading listed shares. The public price transparency, you know exactly where the price is trading at, the guaranteed settlement, all those benefits that come with a regulated market. So we've got quite a lot of interest out there. It's quite exciting.
Well, looking at Sasol's share price at this point in time relative to what you're seeing on the OTC market with these BE shares, could you give us an indication of the differentiation between the two?
It's going to be difficult to tell because obviously the Sasol main share on the main board is the ruling price of the day, and depending on the demand of the shares, whether there are any buyers, that will effectively determine.
And what level are they going to start trading? I mean, they're starting to trade on the 7th
exactly
of
on the same price of the day.
All right, Leanne, looking at the overall theme that we're seeing here, and obviously this is very new to South Africa as well, some would say that, looking at the eligible partners and the eligible groups that will be able to participate in this, give us an indication of how it's going to be worked out and how it's going to be regulated.
Well, if you, first of all, you have to start with the company themselves. They have to want to list their BE scheme shares. So this is not a compulsory board. It's up to the company about what mechanism they'd like to provide with their shareholders. Sasol decided that they'd actually want the public regulated marketplace to benefit, same benefits to come to their BE scheme shareholders. So when it works like that, then you start saying, okay, so only BE compliant people can trade in these shares. And so we've designed the listings requirements and our trading rules around that. And there's a process, a very simple process in which you can become BE compliant. And we've actually just this morning issued the guidance note to our stockbrokers in terms of how they go about it.
So it's not about race compliancy, it's more about BE compliancy.
100% correct, because as an organization, you have different requirements to meet under the DTI code. So we haven't changed the rules. We've tried to keep it as simple as possible, working with the DTI, using their base rules. And so if you are BE compliant under those DTI rules, then you are able to trade in these shares.
Nolitha, just give us an indication of why you think this is, something that South Africa needs to see. Is it a platform for those wanting to look at the differences between, BE compliancy and trading the normal shares? Why would one want to trade those BE shares and not just head into the stock itself?
The opportunity this platform presents is the fact that for those who are BE compliant, they've got a much broader portfolio to choose from. It won't only be Sasol. Hopefully there's many more who will be coming through to be part of this board. And also it means then for our BE shareholders, there's better liquidity for them because then they have other options in terms of the kind of long-term deals that these BEE transactions have tended to be.
But there's no dividend as yet. Are you planning to bring about a dividend?
There has been a dividend for the cash scheme from day one, because those are the ones who were not funded. The funded ones, the dividend has gone to pay their debt to date. So it's different processes, obviously, for the different shareholders.
And Leanne, you mentioned, Sasol, as I said, is the first company. You said you're speaking to some other companies. Could you give us some insight into that?
Unfortunately, those companies have asked us, while we're in confidential talks, not to mention their names, because obviously they're trying to craft something that is suitable for the company, and that would probably not be.
What's your target for this year?
Well, we'd like to see probably at least another 2 come to the boards this year.
And in terms of the creation of a BEE index on the JSE, is that in the pipeline?
Well, if we get more companies in this segment of the JSE's trading, then we can create a BEE index. But clearly an index of one company doesn't make a huge amount of sense at this stage.
Fantastic. Would you like to comment any further about the scheme?
Well, I'm hoping that a lot of our shareholders will feel much more comfortable with trading on the JSE. And as we had made the commitment earlier on 2 years ago to say this is about also educating people around wealth creation, stock market, and also how really the world out there works. And I think this is an opportunity we should all embrace from that perspective.
Fantastic. Thank you to both of you for joining me today. Much appreciated. Leanne Parsons, Head of Equity Trading at the JSE, and Nolitha Fakude, Executive Director of